And she's here with her new book, coincidentally called Ranting, Rhyming, Revolting.
Wow.
So, and for those of you who are English enough to know who Phil Jupitus is, or was, or will be, he described her as utterly magnificent. So please welcome Janine.
Good evening! Don't need a microphone. I did do that stuff in the 80s, but then I broke up and didn't do poetry for 25 years and started again 2 summers ago. So really glad to be back. Look at all these people. It's fantastic. I'm going to start off with a poem. I was feeling a bit sorry for myself and I thought I'd write a poem about things I don't have. So I wrote a poem about things I don't have. So this is called Things I Don't Have. A crystal ball, a magic wand, any goldfish in my pond. That's because I have a cat and she quite soon made sure of that. Instinctive urge to deference, any kind of fashion sense, a strong opinion as to whether socks and sandals go together. A way to ward off insect bites, high-heeled shoes or fishnet tights. An LBD or sparkly gown, much to live for when I'm down. But countless blessings when I'm up, a team that's ever won the cup. A pressure cooker, tumble dryer, till recently a deep fat fryer. Placemats, tablecloths, net curtains, floral bed sheets, that's for certain. Enough flat 8-stud Lego bricks. The time of day for sexist pricks. A plan, a choice, the time, a clue, any notion what to do in awkward social situations, diplomacy or any patience. A filter on my whirring brain, mastery of my domain, a patient tongue, well not for long, a favourite AC/DC song. A skinny waist, a narrow hip, a vote in Labour's leadership. A monkey's toss to give on earth how much your bloody house is worth. A motorcycle anymore, a working doorbell on my door. A flawless record, perfect past, faith in every vote I've cast. An eyebrow, nose ring or tattoo. Any idea what to do when someone says hello and I cannot recall their name or why. A house as tidy as I could, a bath as often as I should. A cleaner, valet, butler, chauffeur, speechwriter, slave or general gopher. Expertise how cakes are made, investments in the weapons trade, at least not ones I know about. A liking for a pint of stout. Telepathy or quite the knack, eyes located in the back of my own head or being blunt, a proper number in the front. A royal baby souvenir from this or any other year. Physical coordination, any bloody inclination to wait much more for liberation, freedom and emancipation. The right to claim a free prescription, a satellite TV subscription. But I have warmth and stuff to read, so I have everything I need. So, social media, Facebook specifically, memes on Facebook specifically. The ones that are about, like, you know, stuff that everybody agrees with. So you share it and you get really into this group and then you kind of get a bit daft and end up sharing things that are a bit more dodgy. And before you know it, some dodgy bunch of far-right horrible people has got its profile all over social media. So this is called Please Share! This poor old dear lives life in fear, while this snout in the trough MP claims £1 a week. It's a bloody cheek. Please share if you agree. Neglected cats, outrageous facts, leaders we've mistrusted, shocking quotes, disgraceful votes. Please share if you're disgusted. Please click to show that you say no to pensioner poverty. Bad things are bad. Sad things are sad. Please share if you agree. Now tip the wink and click this link for more great memes to spread. Join the trends. Impress your friends. Please share to get ahead. This Muslim bloke is snorting coke and us lot have to pay. It isn't true, but it's a heady brew, so share it anyway. He's not alone. He's got a phone. He can't be a refugee. It's cut and cropped and photoshopped, but share if you agree. This lazy shit's on benefits. This bloke looks like a perv. These memes are hot, whether true or not, you'll share if you have the nerve. This beardy slag has shamed our flag and isn't fit to rule. Come spring my trap and share this crap. Come be my useful fool. I did all that shouty, ranty, lefty poetry in the 80s, and I thought this time round I'd be a bit more cultured, as you've already noticed, obviously, and I'd learn a bit about proper poetry. So last year, in order to educate myself about proper poetry, I read a biography of Philip Larkin, because he's a proper poet. Turns out he's an horrible right-wing Tory git, but there you go. There's a bit in there it describes when he's at Oxford University in the 1940s, and it describes a bloke he met and became friends with, who was very posh. That's why he was at Oxford University during the 1940s, and it describes him, amongst various other things, as an author of several unpublished books. Now, those of you who are poets, and a lot of you are, will recognise that that's one of those kind of lines that has a certain rhythm that jumps up at you and thinks, well, that would make a good refrain line in a poem. And I also started thinking through the politics of it, because if you're a very, very rich, posh lad who is at Oxford University in the 1940s, and you're the author of several unpublished books, it's probably because your books are shit. Whereas, for every one person in that position, there are thousands upon thousands of working class women and men who are the authors of several unpublished books, not because their books are shit, but because they don't have that level of wealth and privilege and resources, etc. Or maybe life got in the way of them writing them in the first place. Ditto unexhibited painters, unrecorded musicians, etc. Which is a very, very long and waffly way of introducing this next poem, which I wrote in response to that, which is called Unpublished Author. A traveller to worlds of unvisited places, a winner of numerous unstarted races, a painter of touch-ups that could have been pictures, designer of unproduced fittings and fixtures, inventor of gadgets that never made patent, finds skills unfulfilled and fierce passions still latent, a cordon bleu chef feeds her kids what she cooks, an author of several unpublished books, a soul-drenched soprano who sings in the shower, an artist who hires out her craft by the hour, a teller of stories, a co-educator, a thinker, philosopher, poet, creator, composer of lullabies heard just at home. Her life may stand still, but her mind likes to roam, a scrawler of lines stuffed in crannies and nooks, an author of several unpublished books. A washer of dishes, a wiper of arses, a lister of wishes, a dropout from classes where muse could have struck. She was clearing up muck, or out earning a buck, or so tired she got stuck. A riser at dawn, she's a clock in and outer, she's patched up and worn, she's a serial self-doubter. The sleazeball at work says she's losing her looks, an author of several unpublished books. She'd dance in the dusk, but her neighbour's abusive. Containerised living is hardly conducive. She'd love to be noticed, but breaks are elusive. The one time she tried, the reply... Sorry. She'd love to be noticed, but breaks are elusive. The one time she tried, the reply was conclusive. A writer of plot lines, deviser of hooks, an author of several unpublished books. A worker of overtime, Christmas is nearing. Toiling in noise, getting harder of hearing. Watch time grinding onwards, her dreams disappearing. Her subconscious critic is constantly jeering. She's one of those stars whom our world overlooks, an author of several unpublished books. On the subject of proper poetry, haiku. Who's a fan of the haiku? Who knows what a haiku is? Hey, good, lovely. You get education now then. A haiku is a Japanese form of poetry, the most common form of which is 3 lines, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Doesn't rhyme. Because it doesn't rhyme, I can never remember the ones I've written, so I get to read them out of my book. It's not just a gratuitous way of plugging the book. The 3 R's, ranting, rhyming, revolting, Supposed to be £6, but you good people can have it for £5, and because the rate of exchange is only 1.1 at the moment, you can have it for €5 of your euros. So that will be on sale during the breaks this evening. I'll be sitting over there with me and my young assistant who's over there at the moment. I should mention also I have an older book that came out last year, which is only €3 of your euros, and that's called Mostly Hating Tories. So it is worth it for the title alone, let alone the poetry within. Anyway, right, haiku. Haiku are also supposed to be about nature and seasons and stuff, but I completely ignore that rule because there's so many other things you can use haiku for. So here we go, haiku. 575, remember, yeah? Live your dreams, they said. Naked on the bus, it seems, is not what they meant. You can use haiku to expand people's vocabulary. Here we go. Great word, Temesis. Insertion of a swear word. Fan-fucking-tastic. And it does actually mean, honestly, T-M-E-S-I-S, look it up on Google, that's what it means. I'm amazed there's even a word for sticking a swear word in the middle of another word, but there is. There you go. You can use haiku to quote some of your favourite writers. Freedom is always the freedom of dissenters. Rosa Luxemburg. There you go. And I'll do you a couple more. One about how you can use haiku to say how you spend your day. Here we go. Today I shall be mostly working and playing and hating Tories. And finally, okay, this one's about a headline. If it had been a headline that I've made up, it would be quite funny. The fact that it's about an actual headline that actually appeared on the London Evening Standard website in December makes it hilarious, in my opinion. So remember, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Best headline ever. Circumcision ambulance found after tip-off. I mean, really. Okay, one more before break. One quick one. Quick one before break, because we're doing proper poetry. It's a sonnet, and on the subject of books, this is a sonnet that I wrote after a conversation in which someone explained that she needed a new Hoover and had done for about 2 years. And the reason she didn't have one is because every time she got the money, she went and bought books instead, which I thought was fucking fantastic. That's what to do with your money. So this is called Roses and Bread. The house is getting filthy, she can't face it. The vacuum cleaner's burnt out, lying dead. She knows she has to save up to replace it, but she wants a life of roses, not just bread. And sucking up the dust from crusty carpets is never going to give her quite the pleasure of thumbing dusty pages down the markets, clearing cranial cobwebs, seeking treasure. She finds herself a smart and neat manoeuvre. The bookshelves are all full now in the back room, and stacks of volumes standing in the shed, because though she knows she really needs a Hoover, each time she has the money for a vacuum, she buys herself a book to read instead. Thank you very much for your listening.